RuneScape PvP is dead. It is never coming back. I saw this post a while back from Torvesta talking about how even PKers are not even PKing anymore, right? So, as a PKer, I want to share my thoughts on how I think it all happened. Because you see, back in the prehistoric era of 2009, the PK scene was booming. It was such a core part of RuneScape that even your middle school classmate Thomas would probably be bragging about PKing. 15 years later, there's so much stigma behind PvP that even when there's no risk involved and you're just goofing around, you still get flamed. So where did it all go wrong? If we go back to 2009, you might notice a big difference. People were so bad that your 11-year-old classmate could just hop on the game and get kills. I mean, you just call people safer and then you hit them at 20 and they just fall over. But that's not the case anymore. In fact, the skill level is so high that if you take a Grandmaster PVMer who's never PK'd before and throw them in Bounty Hunter, like, they wouldn't even be that good. It actually goes both ways. A lot of good PKers today pay for their Infernal Capes because the content has a learning curve even for good PKers. Endgame PVM back then was just like, okay, we just released Gorodor, you just gotta like click him and then you just you wait and then he dies. And then you put on your Guthans. You might think, well, No Monkey's so good. He could probably beat Oda in PvP, right? If he just like warmed up. But it's not really true because they have, both of those players have like 15 years of experience in their own, field. And the other way around is not true either. The second thing is, there's no incentive for PvP. So, PVM was so limited back then that PvP actually looked like a viable alternative for fun. PVM now is like a 9 to 5 with guaranteed stable income, You kill Vorkath 100 times, you make 5 mil, it's guaranteed. PvP is like trying to build a startup, It's risky, it takes so much time, you lose money, and it's not even fun in the beginning. And most people don't care to go through that struggle on a medieval clicking game. It's like, imagine you wake up Vorkath and there's a small chance that he just one-ticks an Atlatl Voidwaker spec and takes all your money. The other thing is, there's inherently no incentive to fight better PKers. High-level PvP is so much more risky than PVM, and there's not even guaranteed money unless, maybe you're the type to only fight PVMers or noobs. So, why would you learn how to fight against PKers? Like, if I want to save up for Scythe or like 99 Prayer, then fighting PKers above my skill level is such a bad idea. You're just donating GP. And every time you die, they just insult your family in Spanish as well. But if you try PVM above your skill level, like Soul Heredit, he literally tells you good job when he dies. And he gives you guaranteed GP every single time. And you never have to risk millions. That's one thing. The other problem is the lack of PvP updates. So, as somebody who mostly used to be PKer, I've slowly dipped my toes into modern PVM updates. And I realized, wait, this is actually really fun. Like, Doom is fun, Colo is fun, and when you master Colo, you can do a no-pillar Colo or speedrun it. Not just that, but there's so many systems built into the game that incentivize me to keep coming back for more. You see, while PvP is so complex and has so many layers to it, if you try to think of a way to add the equivalent of CAs and collection logs, you come to realize that it's kind of one-dimensional. Like, there's not really much you can do. Like, some PvP task systems exist on private servers, but there's no fun in, KO somebody with a Guthans spear or something, like, and because of the other problems that I mentioned, it doesn't even make sense for Jagex to focus on PvP, because the players don't care. We've seen updates like LMS and DMM that were huge for PKers, but I don't know many PVMers that look forward to those updates. On the other hand, we got something like Raids 4 or even Leagues, which are way more accessible, and familiar to like 90% of players. So naturally those updates got a lot more hype. The big issue is closing this gap. People don't realize this, but when you learn PvP, it's actually so fun. If you can't PK, then it sucks, and you're gonna hate PKers and hate the wilderness and hate PvP. But what if there was a way to indoctrinate new players into PvP? You know, what if you could get new players into microdosing a little bit of PvP here and there? You know, we make it more accessible by putting noobs against noobs. We give good rewards that fit the natural player progression, like leveling up your stats, gear upgrades, and then maybe people would look forward to PvP updates. Because LMS sucks for noobs, because you get put up against Thanos as a beginner. Bounty Hunter sucks because I can't even describe the kind of people you meet at Bounty Hunter, to be honest. And then PvP Worlds and Deep Wildy are kind of okay, but they're not really beginner friendly, and they're kind of dead. And then, last but not least, the biggest problem is that most players today, at a fundamental level, do not play RuneScape to compete or beat other people. Because as kids, it was like, oh, I'm better than you at RuneScape, I can beat you at RuneScape. But as adults, the average casual player does not care about the rank one bit. The average player just wants to relax and escape their partner, and modern RuneScape is designed for that. So to conclude my thoughts, I think PvP is worth the effort of trying to save, and I wish for every player to experience how fun PvP can truly be.